Hey, good morning, everybody. Matt Modi with OddsJam coming to you on a beautiful, it's actually not beautiful, it's very rainy here, Wednesday, November 30th, here to give you some NBA player props to lock in for today. So we got a decent amount of NBA games today after a light Tuesday. So we can get into it. The first play that we are going to lock in here is Kyrie Irving under 2.5 made threes. So the no vig odds that OddsJam calculates prices this to be at about plus 111. We can round up from plus 110.79. And the book that we are betting it at, which I mentioned to be PointsBet, prices this at plus 115. So the gap between those two numbers equates to a profit margin of 2%, and that is your math for this bet. Now, the math obviously is the most important part, and I think in terms of all of this information, the important thing to understand is that these no vig odds are calculated from OddsJam, from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world. The sportsbooks that are consistently the most accurate at pricing odds. So OddsJam back tested thousands and thousands of betting opportunities, collected millions of data points to make this determination. So where you see these no vig odds, you can view them as the true line of what a market should truly be priced at. And then this percent is just your percent of expected value, can also be viewed as your expected profit. So the gap between the no vig odds and the book that you're betting it at, the bigger the gap between those two numbers, obviously the higher this percent is going to be. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the higher the percent equals the better the bet, just right off, just blanketly. Obviously, the higher is generally better, but there's important things to do before placing a bet to make sure that you're placing the best of the best. Now, every bet here, of course, is going to be positive expected value, right? They're all going to be positive EV. They're all going to be mathematically profitable, but the additional research that you can do into individual bets can just give you added confidence and make sure that you're placing the best of the best. And that additional research, all I mean is clicking open the play here and scanning the odds and seeing what sportsbooks, how the other sportsbooks price this play. Basically trying to determine, okay, is this plus 115 at PointsBet truly an outlier compared to the rest of the betting markets, right? In this case, the answer is yes. So Bet Rivers is the only book that's close at plus 110. Every other book, and I guess I should say FanDuel is a little bit farther away at plus 109, but every other book, and the majority of books, have this for minus money. Pinnacle has it at minus 106. BetOnline has it at minus 104. DraftKings has it at minus 105. And those three are very important for player props. Obviously, BetOnline is just a very sharp book in general. Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook, in the world. And then DraftKings actually does a very good job specifically with player props. So I don't know if they use their DFS data or what. I just know that DraftKings consistently does a very good job at pricing player props. So we use them as one of the books to set markets, essentially. So in this case, this plus 115 at PointsBet is an outlier to the majority of books. The only ones it's not is definitely Bet Rivers, and then to a lesser extent, FanDuel. And it's an outlier to the sharper ones, like a DraftKings, a BetOnline, and a Pinnacle, which tells me that this is a good bet. So the Kyrie Irving under 2.5 made threes plus 115 is going to be my first bet. The next one that I like is another Kyrie Irving play, and this time taking his under rebounds, minus 130 at PointsBet. So same book. The no vig odds that OddsJam calculates prices this to be at about minus 134. The EV percent has this just about 1.28, right? Just above 1.25. So again, this number is representative of the gap between the no vig odds and the odds that we are betting it at PointsBet. And again, look at the other sports books and where they price it. So PointsBet has it at minus 130. The other two books that are kind of close still have it 18 cents higher at minus 148. Then we see BetOnline 24 cents higher at minus 154. We see DraftKings 25 cents higher at minus 155. We see Caesars 33 cents higher at minus 163. And then, of course, Pinnacle has it as the most favorable outcome at minus 166. So all in all, even though that minus 130 are tough odds to accept in general, still a really good price. And I think having this play for plus 115 and this play for minus 130 back to back is a good representative of how we view positive expected value bets, meaning we don't look at just one type of odds, meaning we don't look at just plus money or just minus money. You look at each bet individually, and if the odds of that bet are an outlier to the rest of the betting market, then it's a good bet regardless of the price. So yeah, plus 115 means that it's unlikely to hit in terms of just probabilities, right? Plus 110, plus 111, that the no vig odds prices this, has about a win percentage below 50%. So people always ask me, well, why would you bet on something that you know isn't going to win 50% of the time? And the reason is we're not trying to maximize our percent of bets that we win. If you wanted to do that, you should just bet on heavy favorites. Bet on Bama, bet on Georgia, bet on Ohio State every week except for against Michigan. Bet on Michigan every week. Then you'll win a lot of your bets. You won't always be profitable because the times that they do lose, it's going to be tough to make that up because you have to win 80% of your bets in order to be profitable, and that's just impossible to do in sports betting. But if you go to the odds converter calculator, which is what I have up here, you type in the odds of the bet that you're placing. So in the first one was plus 115. This bet only needs to hit 46.5%, 46.51 to be exact, percent of the time in order to break even. So any number above 46.51 that this bet hits over the course of time will be profitable. And we know, thanks to the sharpest sportsbooks in the world, that this bet's actually going to hit over 47%, almost 47.5% of the time. So the gap between the win percentage associated with the bet that we are placing versus the gap of the win percentage of the no vig odds is another way to view positive expected value. So in the plus money one, yeah, it's going to lose 52, a little over 52% of the time. But if it loses exactly 53% of the time, we'll still be profitable. And that's all that matters. And then for this one, the minus 130, you might say, those odds are terrible. You have to risk $130 to win $100, which I get, but it's the same logic here. This bet is going to win 57.25% of the time. So you can accept the minus 130 odds that have a win percentage of 56.52%. Again, it's lower than that number. So those two bets being back to back is kind of perfect to show you that the actual odds themselves don't matter. It just matters how they compare to the rest of the betting market. So in this case, they were both outliers, so I liked them both. This next one, Joel Embiid over 4.5 assists. So this one is still, even though it's on DraftKings, it's still a good price. Pinnacle has it at plus 105. BetOnline has it at plus 110. It's still an outlier to most of the books except for BetRivers, which has it at plus 123. The Novig odds price this at plus 123. Plus 123.72, so you can round that up to plus 124. Lower EV percent here, only at 0.57%, but still an outlier compared to the rest of the books. So I think this is still a good play. I would recommend putting a smaller half unit play on this Joel Embiid assists and Kyrie Irving made threes, half a unit, and then I'd recommend a full unit on this Kyrie Irving under rebounds one. So those are three of my player props for today, and then the last one that I'm not going to lock in because the odds changed, because you can tell the odds of this bet have changed. So I'm just going to have the first three player props, not going to have the last one because the odds changed on me. And that's going to be it. So 3 for you guys to lock in for today's NBA betting slate. Comment if you have any feedback, if you're tailing, if you're not tailing. Any and all feedback is fine, even if it's negative. But that's it. So other than that, I would appreciate it. A like, subscribe, a comment, as I mentioned, and enjoy the NBA slate tonight. Have a good one.